Thank you. Respected Joe Biachin, I thank you very much for allowing me to have this talk. I see respected PG John Achin also, thank you very much. It's a great privilege to come and talk to several of you over here. First of all, well done to all of you all for coming on this Saturday, especially when it is Halloween and it's club night and it's student night and everything. You all have taken time to spend at least the next 45 minutes in this YouMat talk. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of things. The idea is I'll do a 20-minute presentation. I'm not going to bore you with presentation. I'm sure a lot of you are in your university going through a lot of presentations. And as your cameras are switched off, you must be doing something else behind while studying. But today, hopefully, I have some interaction session over here. Maybe we can interact with some of you all, especially when your cameras are switched off. Let me just quickly share my screen. Right, I'm just setting up so that I can see everyone, at least people who are there on the camera. Right, my profile, as Ajit Dutton said, I came as a student over here in 2008. I joined D2E as a graduate engineer. D2E is a vertical transportation consultancy firm. I joined as a graduate engineer without any experience working anywhere else in a professional environment. Obviously, before 2010, I've done various part-time jobs related to, like many of you all, which sometimes is really important that you work as a part-time, and some of you don't really understand the experience you get from there. And you must have realized that doing some of those part-time work has helped. So I did my part-time job at Domino's. I soon got elevated to become a store manager at Domino's, which I would say is one of my foundation, because that's where I learned customer service, management, managing people, rota, principle, being on time and everything. So that played a very important role. So I would not write off anyone who's doing part-time jobs in McDonald's or in Domino's or Sainsbury's or anything. So they all form a very important part of your role. Anyway, let's just keep that aside because I'll soon talk about that at a later stage. So I joined D2E as a graduate engineer in 2010. I'm right now a chartered engineer and then member of the Engineering Council and SIPSI. During my first 3 years, I was working as an account manager for several prestigious buildings in London. Some of you probably have seen when you go into near London Bridge, the walkie-talkie building, Leadenhall, 22 Bishopsgate, the tallest building right now in London. So these are a couple of projects that I've been working on over the last 10 years. Today, I'm part of the leadership team. I'm part of the executive team, leading a team of 15 people within our business, and I head D2E's asset management business. Just to give you a background, like many of you, I did my bachelor in electrical engineering in 2008. And then I came to UK and did my communication engineering and business management in 2009. Then I was sent out to Northampton University to do a specialist course in lift engineering in 2015. And then I became a chartered engineer. And right now I'm doing my MBA at Cass University. Now, all these courses after my main graduation were business related and they were professionally led. So that is a bit maybe not relevant for some of you yet, because you need to be, maybe you need to get all your basic right first before you're heading into this. That's me. Enough of bragging, I guess, but we'll straight go into things that is important to you all. Now, I would encourage you all to stop me if you have any doubts or anything. And what I'm sharing today is just purely my experience of how to study, work, and because ultimately everyone's goal over here is to get into some path of career in a way, whether it's working or becoming an entrepreneur, or even maybe doing some volunteer work throughout your career. I mean, there is no harm in any of that. I mean, things that I did while studying was mainly membership with various organizations. Now, this can be any organization within your student union or within your university that you have. And then once you start doing membership, and this is the reason where your networking skills will start improving. And this is really important, where you start your initial stage, starting with the networking area. Internship is a very strong thing that you should try to do when you start your university life. And this is where your first work experience will probably begin. And without internship, you're really not going to get any work experience. So if you are able to, and now I didn't ask this question, and which probably will later ask, several of you are home students and several of you are international students. Now, international students will struggle to do internship, and that doesn't mean that the road is at the end, there is a blockage every time. You should try to look for internship. If internship is not possible, then you should try for volunteer work, mainly in your field. Don't do volunteer work in, say, a charity organization or anything like that, because that doesn't count when you come into your professional life. Sometimes it may be ignored and it may not be relevant to some of you all. So two powerful things that you should do while you're studying is internship and volunteer work. And then the other thing is, while you're in your third year or you're in final year, you should try to join a professional organization. Now, professional organization is very expensive, but at the same time for students, and while you're students, majority it's free. So you should try to aim to join your professional association. For example, now in my case, I'm a chartered engineer in building services. So I have to join Chartered Institute of Building Services. You may be a mechanical engineer, so you should join Institute of Mechanical Engineers. If you're a civil engineer, you should join Institute of Civil Engineer. Similarly, with information technology, you should join those institutions. Pharmacy will have their own association. Cryptography will have their own thing. So like that, if you try to join some of those professional associations, the reason why these are important is this will help you with your networking skills. And you right now, today, you joined this YouMat. In this YouMat, there will be several, at least 10 or 15 people who can help you. Now that's because part of your networking skills. You can now familiar yourself, or talk to Ajit Eappen, or talk to myself, or talk to Joby Achan, and say, all right, could you help me out this? This is where your networking skills start. Likewise, when you join a professional association, you already start your networking skills and someone will be there to help you out. This is a tip. And I don't know if a lot of you have embarked on this. And I think YouMat has already started this kind of organization. When I was in my 12th standard, one of my elders, I still see her as a mentor. Now, this is a very powerful thing that you should do. You should identify a mentor. Now, this mentor can be anyone that within your circle. It can be your brother, it can be your sister, it can be your father, it can be your church priest. Or if you want to go take it even further, it can be someone in your university who's got a bit of world knowledge. Now, this is really important because that person will know everything about you in terms of your weaknesses, your strength, and everything. And this mentoring actually helped me out right from my schooling days. So I started in my school. I had a mentor who was my elder sister. And from her, I started looking forward to what I should be doing next and kind of getting guidance every step. Once you have proper guidance, your goals will all of a sudden will become much more easier to achieve. So this is something that I always encourage a lot of our youngsters who join D2E. You should have 3 goals. One is your short-term goal, your midterm goal, and your long-term goal. Now, you must have people who are right now looking for work. You must have heard this question several times, or even guys who have attended interviews. The interview will be asking you, what is your short-term goal? What is your medium term? What is your long-term goal? Now, those questions are not a silly question. You should take it very seriously. Now, these questions, you should prepare yourself. What is my short-term goal? As a university student, maybe your short-term goal right now will be, all right, I need to get my grades and I have to pass. A final year student will probably be looking at my short-term goal, all right, I need to find a job and I have to somehow pay my debt. And that will be your short-term goal. But when you're doing your short-term goals, don't forget your long-term goals, because if your long-term goals doesn't meet with your short-term goals, then you will always fall aside and you'll never be successful in whatever you're planning to do. So it's really important right at day one, even now, if today, if you can go out and start thinking about this, who can be my mentor? Who is that successful person in my circle? That doesn't mean, like Ajit Tatan said, go and meet Sundar Pichai in Google CEO, which is probably, maybe it's possible if you write to him, maybe he'll be ready to write a CEO, become your mentor. But you need to find someone who's realistic, by the way. Look at that person and see, right, what is in that person that I'm finding really motivating. Once you and him understand, have a mentor relationship, and then your career will become really smooth and it'll be very successful. And just listen to what they got to say, because their experience will be very important. And this is where your short term, mid term, and your long term goals will be achieved. Moving on a little bit, I know I'm going a bit fast because I got only 20 minutes. Some of the job sites that helped me during my career. Now, don't get me wrong, it's been 11 years since I saw my CV. So, by the way, I worked at only one place during my professional career. And there was a good reason. I didn't have any reason to change my job over the last 10 years. People say that is a mistake, by the way. And by the way, my mentor said that's a mistake. And I disagreed with her at that time. But at that time, we had a good dialogue. I asked her, why do you say that? And the reason why she gave, and she makes a good point over there. When you're in your career right from the beginning, if you don't find yourself moving up, and then you'll soon find out once you're done, the first, second year, your company is trying to push you down and not helping you to grow, you have to probably change your job at one time. And you have to take that decision really quick. If you don't, what will happen is you will just stagnate over there, and then soon you'll find yourself, you cannot move anywhere. Now, my mentor said that you should change jobs every 2 years. And this is where I kind of disagreed with her. Now, this is a bit contradictory with what I'm trying to say here. You should always challenge yourself at work. If you're challenging yourself at work, then being at the same workplace over a long period is not a bad thing, because you can always move up the ladder. If you see, when I showed you my profile, you can see I was always moving up in the ladder within the company that I was working, and I was always given opportunity. Likewise, you should also identify in your organization whether that is there. And this is the beauty working in UK. You have equal opportunity, absolutely equal opportunity. You can dream to become CEO of a company. And that opportunity you get because this country is all about becoming an equal opportunity for everyone. Today, woman has a really good, powerful role. Just because you are a woman and you have to go through various cycles of life, that doesn't mean your career stops at one end. Even women are encouraged so much. And right now, with so much opportunities in terms of women empowerment, you have companies, big organizations right now targeting 30% to 40% of executive positions being women. So it's a really good time to be working as a woman in this environment. Some of the job sites, these are all graduate job sites. And one of the powerful one where I got my job was Milk Round News. And I would encourage all of you all to start looking into this Milk Round News. Now, this is a bit of a difference here. International students and home students. Now, home students have a stronger opportunity in these type of companies. Now, the reason why I say that, majority of these applications, they will ask you, what is your visa status? Now, when your visa status, when you say that you're not permanent or you're on a temporary basis, for example, like in some of your cases, you'll be student visa or in PSW. Unfortunately, there's a lot of computer-based checks that they do. Now, I'm a recruiter right now. I recruit organization, and I'll give you a story a bit later. But all these organizations will try to eliminate you straight away, not even a physical person before seeing it. So I would not encourage international students to go into these sites. You'll probably tire yourself if you get rejected in the starting meeting. What you should be aiming is probably look at smaller firms, look at smaller organizations that are not household names. Initially, everyone will be aiming for the big firms like Accenture, BP, Shell, all the big names that you hear, or PricewaterhouseCoopers, or Ernst & Young. These are the big household names that you hear, and you all will be trying for them. Leave that to all those home students. And international students probably should look for the niche, the smaller companies, those organizations where you don't hear a lot. And how do you find them? And this is where you go back to the professional association. Those associations will have a list of organization that is their membership. And there you can start applying and looking at jobs separately. Go and meet them over there. Meet them in seminars, meet them in conferences. Majority of the conferences and the seminars are free, or they will be discounted for students. Try investing in yourself, then you will get your return. That's how if you don't invest in yourself, you'll never do. You have invested, and this is for everyone, you have invested lakhs and lakhs or even thousands and thousands of pounds on yourself. Why can't you not invest a bit more? And this is where a lot of failures happen. And when you look at a lot of my friend circle and all over the years, these are some of the steps that they didn't take and that they fell down maybe in this area. Now, when you're applying for jobs, this is probably my next one. And this is the biggest mistake. Today, in 2015, I was not doing a major role in my organization. Like I was not recruiting anyone. And we had a graduate position. So the CVs all came in. So this is a story I'm going to say that. The CVs all came in. I think we had around 200 CVs come in. All right. So my boss was sitting next to me and say, oh my God, I got 200 CVs to read. And those days, I mean, nowadays you're not allowed to print paper, but those days people were printing papers. So what he did, he printed 200 CVs and he put it in his desk. And the way he was rejecting people was just reading the first page of the covering letter. And if someone got their grammatical mistake and something wrong, reject, not even going into the detail. It was just straight away, that first 200 was brought down to 20 straight away by just throwing their CVs out of the way. It was just that brutal because people don't have time. All these people who are recruiting, they don't have really enough time to do it. I had one CV in this 2015, and I remember the story really. One lad wrote, my boss's name was Robin Cheesewright, and the guy wrote, "Dear Mr. Cheese." He could not even get the name correct when he wrote the CV, when the CV and the covering letter. Now that is a big problem. If you can't write the name of your recruiter correctly, which shows that you're not carefully looking at it. Now the story that I got to say is, so last month, we are right now recruiting a graduate engineer actually. And so now I had to, so I was like, right, you know what? I'm not going to do like my boss. I'm going to be really sharp. I'm going to make sure I give feedback to everyone. Now, a lot of you are going to experience this. No one giving you feedback to your interview CVs. And I was like, no, I'm going to give feedback to everyone. I'm going to read every single CV to the word. I also got 200 CVs. Now tell me, where do I find the time to write 200 CVs? So I said, okay, no, you know what I'm going to do properly. I started reading the first 10, and all of them were like generic CVs. They were all copy and pasted. And this was literally a shock for me to like, oh, everything, all the words and everything are just copied from here and there from internet. Nothing related to the role that we are applying. So this is a big point that everyone has to be careful. Once you start applying for jobs, make sure your CVs and your covering letters are job specific. Make sure they are right for the company, not for thousands and company. And by the way, I also did the same mistake during my time. So I'm not going to say this is easy, because on Monster or Milk Round, all you need to do is apply. It's job done. No one is looking at it. So you have 100 jobs coming in and you're just clicking on the button. Now, this is a mistake you're doing right from the beginning. And when you look at people's CV, the recruiter is like, oh, you know what? He's not even bothered to even read properly or check what is the job description. So avoid generic CVs. And your covering letter and CV is the only place where a recruiter can see. Now, it has to be written in a lot of confidence. You have to be very confident in what you're saying and what you're trying to tell them. Because if you're not confident, no managers or anything, especially when I'm trying to recruit someone, I really don't have time to, help someone grow. I want to mentor them. But at the same time, if it's someone right below the par, you don't have the time to help them out to grow. So you need to be really confident, show that your strength, that, I'm very confident with what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And by the way, as a graduate, everyone knows you don't know the role. So don't expect to know everything. And you should be very confident to tell someone that, listen, I don't know the role. teach me. Or so this is where the communication skills have to go up, and it needs to improve us at a level where you can't imagine. Now, if you notice, 95% of people over here switched off their camera and they're not talking to me. Now, the last 18 months, all of you have been doing that. If you notice yourself in your school or in your seminars or your conference that you're attending, the last 18 months, you have not been talking to someone professional. And that means you are losing that skill in the last 18 months. This is happening even for the people who are studying in school also. Your communication skills are probably way back. And now you have to make sure that you go up a position, because when you come to your interviews or when you come to your recruitment, if you are struggling to put words together, you're straight away rejected. In this country, particularly in the UK, you have really smart people. There's so many smart people, and you are competing with so many brilliant people, and you are there with so many weaknesses. And one of the weaknesses is you don't have a visa. Your status is not clear. Your qualifications are probably not clear enough. Your mark sheets have not come out. And over here, you have students who are by 18, they started working. And when they are by their 24, they already have gained 6-7 years experience, either working as a paper boy or working in McDonald's or working in Domino's. They already have gained work experience. Whereas in your case, you haven't gained work experience. And so you're starting from the beginning. So if you don't up your communication skills, you're straight away falling apart in all those interviews. So building your confidence is really important. Right. Now, I probably need to get a glass of water. So I'm going to take a bit of rest. We're going to do a small exercise. And I need everyone to participate here. I'm going to show you a video. And this is really important. This time it's a two-way interaction, and hopefully you will talk to me, at least this time. I'm going to show you a video, and it's all about etiquette. Okay. As I said before, last 18 months, none of you have been switched your cameras on. So you probably don't know how to even dress well or how to do things. So I'm going to show you a video where in the first 5 seconds, if you can spot 4 mistakes in this particular video, put your hands up. So you got a small bar in your Zoom talk where you can put your hands up so that I know that you're ready. And then I'll pick someone randomly to talk. Maybe that's a mistake that I told right now. So no one will put your hands up. So I'm going to show you a video. Is that clear? You have to spot 4 mistakes in this talk. And when you're ready, when you got 4 mistakes, put your hands up. Okay. This is all about etiquette and having conversation and everything. All right. Are you guys ready? Yeah. Just put your hands up, thumbs up, nothing. All right. Brilliant. Okay. Some of you have heard what I said. Right. I'm going to put the video now. Right. Spot 4 mistakes in this.
Okay. So hello, Zane. I'm from Intel. So I've been a software developer working on the match interface. So the match interface is basically so the topic is about match interface and how can we integrate match interface into OVS to do OVS accelerations. Okay, so this is a legal disclaimer. So the main points are.
Anyone there? Can't anyone find? Okay, yeah, I got Ben there. Ben, do you want to tell me what is wrong with that person there?
His posture, his tone. I don't know if he's dressed too well for the speech that he's giving. Yeah, that's about it.
I got Steffi. Steffi, do you want to say?
Yeah, I was just saying he was just reading off the screen. He doesn't seem very confident. He's just reading what's on his laptop rather than eye contact with the audience and maintaining a confident posture like Ben addressed.
Okay, good. Akhil?
Yeah, I think even I was probably just going to say the same thing. The way he is addressing, he's just looking at the screen. He isn't talking to any of the people. And he's talking too fast, so it doesn't matter what's on the screen. Nobody can understand what he's saying.
Good. Brilliant. So some of you have already found it. Does someone else want to go one more time if you got something different? Anyone else? Put your hands up. No? Kevin, I think I saw you. Yeah, Kevin.
Yes, sure. Too many us between the words. So correlating to your point of not able to put words together in a single sentence.
All right, brilliant. So some of you already have gathered that now. Now, the next video I'm going to show. Now, notice something this particular person is doing. This is a very stressful environment. She's meeting her investors. She just now got appointed as the CEO, and she's meeting the investors for the first time. Now, what you need to notice is her posture, what she's doing, what she's wearing, her eye contact and everything. And maybe, again, point 4 mistakes, and maybe show your hands when you're ready.
So welcome and good afternoon to everybody here, and good morning to those of you who are either watching or listening in from the US. Today, we have announced our Q2 results, and I'm also setting out the priorities that we will drive to improve our performance and our returns for the long term, with a first phase focus on the next 3 years. Of course, for the whole presentation, we start off with our cautionary statement as usual. And in terms of the agenda this afternoon.
Right. What do you think? Kevin? Or is this your previous hand?
I think it's my previous hand. Sorry.
Ben, do you want to give it a go?
Yeah, she just seems to be moving around quite a lot while she's talking. So it could imply that she's nervous. I'm not too sure.
Right. Someone else? You want me to put the, oh yeah, okay, I got Akhil.
Yeah, I think when she's talking, she's just looking around too much. So she's not spending appropriate amount of time at each point. So she's just going around with her neck going to both sides. Probably that's too much movement, like Ben said.
Okay. Not sure that came like that across, but let's keep that. Glenna?
I don't know actually whether this is right. Is it something related to her mic? There are 2 mics there, and she kept on like moving here and there rather than focusing properly on her mic and speaking out.
No. I think
I'm sorry, I know.
She was clear. She was clear on her mic. Mahima?
I don't think she's introduced herself before she started the presentation. I don't know if that's...
All right, I'm going to take you out of your mystery a little bit. Right. Have you noticed when you compare with the other slide, she was constantly looking up in the screen, or she was looking right in front of the audience. She was showing that she's the boss, and she showed her confidence straight away. And I know some of you are saying that she was looking at her eyes here and there, but actually she was making one of the biggest thing that everyone as a CEO has to do. Look at everyone, looking at all the investors' eyes and telling, you know what, I'm the boss here and I'm here to do something. Don't you think so? That was a difference that you saw there? No? Glanet, do you want to say something? Glanet?
Yeah, you were right. She was very confident enough. Yes.
Right. What do you think about her dress? Ben?
It's a bit too bright. I mean, I would normally wear something like plain, blank.
All right. So, you know, when I told you right in the beginning, GSK, she's come to see her investors after they're having a very bad time. Now, colors are really important when you come and meet people. Bright colors give you a lot of confidence as a person. Now, when it comes to a woman wearing bright color, it really is, she comes across as a very confident person. So making sure your colors are correct are really important when you attend meetings and all. And I think over here, and it's not think, Emma got those colors correct because she was addressing a male-dominated industry to come as the CEO of the company. And she's right, you know what, I'm here to make a point. So I don't think so it is that bright to show that it is wrong, but you should look at colors. Now, for in your case, Ben, I would not encourage you to wear bright colors, because if you wear a bright color and come for an interview, you may look a bit awkward. Yeah, as a man, you probably have to look at the light shades color. You're right in that way. But for a woman, she had to come across very confident, and that's where she put her right clothing there. What else can someone say? Has everyone given up? No? Ben, you want to go one more time?
Yeah, her posture, she seems upright, but in comparison to the previous one where he was like slanted and not as interested.
See, there you go. That is another big point. Confidence is again brought in there. Her posture was really upright. She was really trying to make a point over there, making sure her posture was not going to be clumsy over there. Steffi, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, in terms of the pace of her speech, she broke it down quite well. There was enough pauses so that everyone could understand and follow what she was saying. So that was correct. And very professional approach in the way she's dressed and how she's looking left to right and addressing the audience. So in comparison to the first video we watched, obviously she's much more confident, and you can say that, of course, because she's in that CEO position, it does come across that way. So in comparison to the first one, definitely miles apart.
So again, I think Abby, you're the last one. Do you want to just give a few words, and then I'll...
I was just thinking the fact that she didn't stutter as much, so we could see clearly that she was confident in terms of her speech, because she had tonal power when she actually spoke.
Perfect. Now, so this is an important point that you all have to learn. Last 18 months, all your cameras and everything and things have been switched on. Attending interviews is your first impression. And now these first impressions, majority of the interviews are right now hybrid. So you will find some of those interviews are going to be your video call, or going to be on Skype or on Teams, on Zoom. You need to make sure you're wearing the right clothes. The other day, I had an opportunity to interview a student. And it was really embarrassing in a way to see he was not at all prepared. Forget about being confident. I do understand graduates do struggle a little bit, but wearing t-shirts, and that also very thin t-shirt, as if there's no interest in the job. He had a very powerful CV. And when I saw the CV, I was like, he's the next person to be a D2E. That's how I went into that interview with him. I was constantly saying, he's going to be the next person. And straight away, the interview we started, I was like, oh my God, I can't deal with this person. It was that bad in terms of the posture, the dressing, and one of the biggest thing that all of you will have to remember is your background. You need to be very careful with what you have in your background. It has to be as simple as possible. If you can go to a background without just a wall, brilliant. Or if you can, like how I've done, blur your background, blur it, because no one wants to see your ugly trousers, your ugly dresses beside the bed or anything. And that is a very bad thing. And some people don't realize that they do this. And you have to be very careful when you're attending interviews or even any meetings or with anyone where you're going. The other thing is your dressing. Now in London, if you are coming into London, it is definitely a suit that you have to come in for men, and women has to come in their formal dress. Now, you have 3 parts of the city, which is very important that not many of you all know. And this is all only for people who are coming for interviews in London. You have the London city, where you have the bridge, London Bridge, and you have Blackfriars and all those areas. Over there, it's suit with tie. Absolutely, you have to wear that. Whereas if you move to the West End, which is where Victoria Station and you have Soho and all, over there, you don't need to wear a tie. The culture over there is just a blazer and a trouser. Now, if you go a bit more north side towards King's Cross, where all the technology firms are, it's t-shirt and jeans. So you need to really know where you're going and what to wear. And it's really important. And the most important thing, if you don't know, you have to ask your interviewer. Don't assume things. This is one of the thing I gave you 2 or 3 big lessons, but one other big lesson is never assume things. Always ask the question. Ask your interviewer, what should I wear? It is not an embarrassment at all, because you don't want to get it wrong. I was invited to Google's office at King's Cross. Now, I didn't know Google culture was t-shirt and jeans. I knew from reading newspapers and all, but I didn't know in the offices also they wear t-shirt and jeans. Now, when I went there, I was the most odd person looking over there with all my suit and tie over there, which meant I didn't prepare myself for that meeting. And straight away in the meeting, they are talking about the dress and the dress sense and everything. So you need to really know your crowd. Whereas when you go to the banking sector in the city, if I go in t-shirt and jeans, they're just going to throw me out. They'll just think I am the Uber boy or deliverer who come to deliver something for them. So it's really important that you work your clothes, your communication, your confidence, your posture, everything has to be really good. Right, I know we are running out of time. So just quickly, am I still sharing my screen or has it come out? Can someone just say yes?
You are still sharing your screen.
All right, okay. This is mainly for international students, and this is how my PR status was achieved. So you start as a student visa. You have something called now post-study work visa, which is a 2-year visa. And then you need to jump into a sponsorship in order to get your PR. So that is a 3+2 year visa. Now, this is a very critical part because without a sponsorship, it is very difficult to get PR. So in your PSW, you have to find a job that is suitable for working in the sector who can sponsor you. There are other places as a student visa, you can directly be sponsored. So when you are in your university, you have your 12-month course, and then I believe you get a 6-month extension or a 6-month period in your visa. During that 6 months, you should try to look at getting a sponsored visa and then straight away, rather than going to PSW, jump into a sponsorship visa. Now, this is a bit tough. It's not easy, but I'm not saying it's not impossible also. It is possible. Then the other straight route that you can do is becoming a dependent with someone who is based in the UK or being who's already in the UK, either through marriage or something else. Just want to quickly cover mental health. This is really important that many of you will be facing right now. During my time, no one used to talk about mental health. Right now, mental health is a very big topic. Don't stress yourself. There are a lot of people to help you, and this is really important that you take help from anyone that you think can help you right from it. Before things go wrong, seek help. You have organization that is anonymous like Mates in Mind. You have your NHS, and you have YouMat over here. You have your mentors over here who can help you out or maybe direct you to the right person within your whatever area you're struggling with. Now, things not to do. This is mainly for international students. As many of you are coming over here, you're getting excited. You have a lot of things. You're earning money. A lot of you people jump into driving license. You get your car and everything. Some of the offenses that people do in the car, they are counted as criminal offense. So be very careful while you're exceeding your speed, drink and driving. A lot of us who have come from India are used to giving your car to our friend. These are big mistakes that you're doing. You cannot give your car to a friend just for him to drive like that. That is a criminal offense if you get caught, and then that will affect your visa status. Domestic violence. Now, domestic violence doesn't mean it only happens with someone who is married. Domestic violence happen within your dormitories or within where you share your rooms. Several of you will be sharing rooms with both male and female in the same house or something with different rooms. You may get into arguments. You may get into different things. I have a friend, unfortunately, during my time, he had his girlfriend over there, and they had just a simple argument. And unfortunately, they used unnecessary things, and she got hurt, and straight away he had to be deported. So small things, be very careful when you are staying together. Now, the other thing is really important is having affairs and traps, debts and money. You need to be very careful with how you present yourself. Don't fall into these kind of things. You have come with a lot of loans and a lot of debts within your home country, especially back in Kerala. One mistake will completely change everything. Just one mistake. And unfortunately, This country sometimes will not forgive you for that one mistake you do. So be very careful with those kind of things. Don't fall into those kind of things and trap yourself. You know, we got less time. That's the end of my presentation. And I just now leave to you Q&A.
Thank you, Rony, for your powerful, in-depth, motivating and inspiring session. Definitely, it will be a great help for our students to build up their future in this part of the world. Now it's time for Q&A session. നമ്മുടെ മലയാളത്തിലും ചോദിക്കാം. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഇത്തരത്തിൽ നമ്മൾ ഡീൽ ചെയ്തതായിട്ടുള്ള വിഷയങ്ങൾ സംബന്ധിച്ച് എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ നിങ്ങൾക്കുള്ള ഡൗട്ട്സ്, എവിടെയെങ്കിലും ക്ലാരിഫിക്കേഷൻസ് ആവശ്യമുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അതിനുള്ള സമയമാണ്. പ്ലീസ് ഫീൽ ഫ്രീ ടു ആസ്ക് ദ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ്. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സിലും നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ചോദിക്കാവുന്നതാണ്. റോണി, 1-2 ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ ഓൾറെഡി വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. One is റോണി കാണാവോ? റോണിക്ക് hello Achachan, how do I become less shy? I struggle to clear interviews primarily because I appear less confident.
Now, I mean, there is no direct answer for that. It is going back to talking to people within your firm. Now, this is where talking means not talking with your friend. Talking to someone who is a bit more in an unprofessional environment. Talking to me right now will be helping you because I'm not going to judge you. So you probably have to practice talking to someone in a professional environment on a regular basis on subjects, on topics. And that's where you will start building confidence. And then people don't feel confident only because they are probably not familiar with the topic or you don't know anything about the topic. So this is where you have to prepare yourself. If you prepare yourself with, say there's a topic about cybersecurity or something. Now, you don't need to know everything about cybersecurity, but learn at least 1 or 3 words about cybersecurity that you are able to talk in confidence. That way, you'll slowly build your confidence. And when you're ready for your interview, you'll be ready. And then practice. And this is where, because we all are really, what do you call, fearful, or there's a shiver in you all the time. You may constantly be muttering or something. And this is where you probably will be struggling in the interview. And if you practice either in front of a mirror, I do a lot of practice in front of my mirror. And that's where I build slowly confidence. Or talk to your friend in a way that you feel that, you know what, he's not going to judge me, but do role plays. When you do role plays, you'll slowly build confidence. And he can help you, right? You know what, you're doing that wrong, or you're doing this wrong. And then again, at the same time, going back to my point, your mentor, talk to your mentor to see if you can build that confidence. Hope that helped, whoever that is. Sean, yeah, Sean.
റോണി, ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിച്ചതെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെ സ്പോൺസേഴ്സിനെ കണ്ടുപിടിക്കും എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അതായത് അതായത് ഇന്റർനാഷണൽ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനെ എങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് ജോലിയിൽ സ്പോൺസേഴ്സ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള കമ്പനീസ് കണ്ടുപിടിക്കാം എന്നുള്ളൊരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
ഇത് കണ്ടുപിടിക്കാനായിട്ട് there is shortcuts ഒന്നുമില്ല. The way I encourage, ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ ഒത്തിരി സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ഫ്രണ്ട്സിനോടൊക്കെ എൻകറേജ് ചെയ്യുന്ന, the way I tell them is go to the government website, download the tier 2 sponsorship list. അതിനകത്ത് filter out all the companies that is related to you and then target them because they already have the sponsorship. They already are ready to sponsor students. So you have more than 10,000 sponsorship companies that is currently available in the tier 2. Take that list and then filter out your company that you will definitely find your company. There is right now in the UK, you'll find that there are very minimal organizations who doesn't sponsor. Everyone will sponsor in one way or the other, or they have to sponsor in the next 2 to 3 years in order to bring in the labor that they need. So they will be ready and they will be aware of it. But take that list and that's where you have to look at it.
Thank you, Rony.
I have a question, and this is regarding mentorship sort of thing. Well, in our lives, we would have different types of mentors for different types of things. How can I set a goal with so many different directions?
So, Avi, can you just ask that, repeat that question one more time? You're asking me, how can you set your goals with different mentors?
Because I believe that we have different mentors for different things, don't we?
Oh no, don't get me wrong, Avi. When I say mentors, I'm talking about professional in your professional life. In order to build your career, you'll have mentors in other things. Like you'll have a mentor in church, maybe something related to your spiritual life. But that can be the same person, but it doesn't need to be it can be a different person also. So when I'm talking about mentorship or having a mentor, I'm talking about professional life mentors. This is to help your career.
Okay.
Yeah, don't mix your personal issues with your professional life mentors, unless your mentor is ready to do that. So yeah, be careful with those kind of areas. Hope I've answered that question, Abhi.
Hi, Chacha. I'm Tara. Actually, I'm pursuing Masters in Computer Science in University of Hertfordshire, and I do have the computer background. And when I came here, I just do the part-time job as healthcare assistant, healthcare recruiter, and the assistant booking coordinator. And by this experience, I'm just applying through the NHS jobs. And I think they were asking the supporting information, and also they were asking if there's any director or related to you or any staff employee in your organization is working. Please mention the relationship. And if I don't have any family members, if I do mention anyone, is that a high chance of getting job through the for the NHS? And if there is any chance of getting any sponsorship through the NHS jobs? But because I do attend an interview, recruitment assistant medical staffing in NHS jobs, but they told me due to the lack of enough experience, they just rejected me. So if I mention any family members, if that's a high chance of getting a job?
Tara, unfortunately, I'm not very familiar with NHS recruitment or NHS jobs. I really don't think that affects any application. That is a very generic statement that everyone has to ask. Do you have any relatives or any members of your family in the working firm? And that is a very generic question. I don't think so that is related to any way that affects your application.
All right.
Ronnie, if you don't mind, can I take that question? Because I deal with that sort of applications in the NHS.
Yeah. Go for it.
Hi, Tara, it's Steffi. So
yeah, hi.
Just to let you know, that question in particular is one, they want to avoid bias. Because, for example, when they call you for the interview, and if someone in that organization is working within a directorial position or whatever position, they just want to make sure that the same person is not on the interview panel. That's one reason they ask that question. The second reason is it could be that if you have a person in the directorial position or working within the department, they try and see if they can give you a reference. So in terms of recommendation, one is to avoid any sort of bias in the interview. Two is if they can provide a reference to say, yes, I've known Tara, etc. Mainly is because of the bias purposes. That's why there is that question, because I do apply for a lot of NHS jobs and I work in the NHS as well. So I'm aware of that question. So it's not to say that having that gives you a higher chance of getting the job. There is no such guarantee, because it normally asks, do you know anyone in sort of a senior position? Isn't that correct? They ask you for a directorial position. They don't ask if you know a nurse or a doctor. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes, that's right.
So that's the reason they provide that question in the NHS recruitment section.
All right. So, Steffi, in the supporting information, most of them told me just be honest. So, if we are looking for the title sponsorship, we need to, in interview or in supporting information, do I need to mention that I'm looking for the title visa sponsorship? Like that, like most of them told me that you need to be honest. They like that being honest.
The thing is, the supporting information is an addition to your CV. So that's not for you to request a visa, etc. In the
Alright.
supporting information, what they look at is, for example, you need to read the job specification and the job role you're applying for. And for
Yeah.
example, if they say, we need someone who has excellent communication skills, or we need someone who has excellent presentation skills. In the supporting information, how you write it is, you say, I have gained excellent communication skills by, in my current role, I like provide induction to, I don't know, doctors. So you just provide supporting information. You give examples of how your real life situation or your job experience is applicable to the role you're applying for. In the end, I would say just in one sentence, you just say, looking for a sponsorship, visa, etc. So your whole supporting information should not be based on the visa or sponsorship. You should just mention that in the interview, or you should ring the recruiter and speak to them directly. But the whole point of having the supporting information in the NHS is for them to know what you've done so far and how the things you've learned will help in the role that you're applying for. That's what it should be about. Is that helpful?
All right, I will look. Yeah, that would be helpful. I will look for the further applications. Sure. Thank you so much.
Sorry, Rony.
Thank you, Steffi. Thank you, Tara. I mean, just to help everyone, and this is another small tip. If they don't ask you anything about your visa status or anything, I would not take any chance to write that into my documentation or application. And if they ask you, then of course you need to be very honest and tell you what your situation is. But if they don't ask, don't even think of putting it in, because that is seen as slightly as a negative thing before even you are given a chance to come in for the interview. So I would avoid if they don't ask you that question.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Just to, sorry, I'm intervening. Those who have not registered with YouMat, could you please fill in the form, https bit.do/YouMat. So
I'm
that's
doing right now.
okay. Thank you. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is that all the questions? Now is the golden chance to ask questions. There's a lot of people who over here who can help you answer questions, things that you're struggling with. I know one person, Ben, apologies for that if you felt that it was targeted too much toward international students. I didn't mean to target a lot of international students. I tried to make it very generic, but it so happened it became maybe slightly towards international students. Maybe you joined halfway through it.
Anything else?
Kevin.
Okay. Good evening, Ashins, and hi, Rony. I just want to ask one question. So I am currently based in Italy, and right now they prefer jobs that are when the person is more proficient in Italian, and I'm still learning, and I'm trying to look for a hold in a more English-speaking country. And I just wanted to know, like, what are my chances if I want to apply in the UK, given that I have my visa in Italy? It's not a job visa, but it's like a post-work visa where I can look for jobs. So I want to know, as a person who is totally not connected to the UK, how best can I improve my competencies that I am noticed amidst the big competition that's already prevailing in the UK right now?
So Kevin, it is not impossible for you to get a job in the UK. My sister, she got a job in the UK from applying from Kuwait, without any help from either from me or anyone in the UK. She just applied for job through the job sites that I mentioned previously. Although she studied in the UK and then she had to go back, and those years they didn't have any PSW. It all depends on what you're studying or what you're doing right now. And this is where it's really important. If you're studying a very generic subject, then your chances are very low. But if you're studying a very niche subject, so right now in the UK, cybersecurity is a big thing. Environmental is a very big thing. Sustainability is a big subject, and automobile and electric cars and batteries are really important now these days. So if you're studying a niche subject, and of course medical, nursing and all those sectors are really in high demand. If you're studying those subject related items, then you have a better chance. If you're studying management qualification, like, I don't know, business management or accounts or finance, the chances are very, very remote. But saying that, if you are really strong and bright, getting that interview is the big thing. And then if you can shine in the interview, companies do invest. They will spend the money to recruit you. So it's not impossible. It's not impossible.
Well, I'm happy you just told it, because coincidentally, I'm actually in the remote part of this conversation. I am a finance and management graduate. So I guess it's an extra edge that you require, probably.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When you say extra edge, I mean, finance also, you can't write them off. If you are right now pursuing your chartered accountship, I mean, that is important. And not only that, there will be firms based in UK or in London who are maybe an Italian firm. So they may be interested in you because you are based in Italy. So I would never say it's not possible. So, but find your niche. That is really important. If you want to stand apart from the competition that you already have, like I said, you have home students, you have international students, and you have even more brighter students. If you want to stand apart from all of them, you need to find your niche. And then if you find your niche, then people will buy it from you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rony Eappen. That's insightful.
So I just wanted to add to that, like for international students and local students, I think it's important to be focused on whatever you do, because it's like, I would say, use a tool like LinkedIn, or find people who do those sort of jobs which you are aiming for, and see how they got there. LinkedIn is a good tool that way, because let's just say you want to look at how someone became a chief scientist, or let's just say a chief accountant. You could pick up LinkedIn and use that as a tool to figure out how they became a chief accountant, what was their stepping stone, their ladder. So obviously, but as Rony said, personal networking is always trumps everything else, but just to improve knowledge.
Any more questions? Do you want to? That's good. Everyone knows their answers, so there's no problem at all.
Rony, one question has come up. Sheena to everyone. Getting an attractive CV, especially with all catchy terms, is a struggle for me. Is there anywhere I can get help with that, please?
So this is this is a question that everyone probably are wondering, how to get the best CV. Now, this is not probably just to answer Sheena, this is probably to everyone. You need to find, like I said, do not do generic CVs. And that's really important. You need to target your CV for that particular company. And when you target that particular company with your CV, you have to make sure that buzzwords that they're using are also in your CV. Now, if you're applying for big companies, 95% of the CVs are run through artificial intelligence, through a computer software. And if you want to get through that software, you have to make sure you have the buzzword before it goes to a physical person. Now, getting an attractive CV, the best thing is maybe get help from someone who is working in an HR environment, especially in our church group or in our different mentors that you have over here. There will be some people who are working as human resource, or someone who are in senior positions. Get their help. Have them to have your CV checked. Ask them to look at your CV, say, what am I not doing correct? And always, very important, because majority of graduates, probably the first CV that they are preparing is go to Google, get me a template of CV, download the first or second one that you get, and you'll be using that. And that is a big mistake that a lot of people will be doing. And CVs always have to be changed according to the organization that you want, and using the correct buzzwords that they want over here. So things like team leadership, team building, working together as a group, responsibilities, these are all good buzzwords that people are looking for actually in the CVs. You cannot ignore them, but at the same time, look for the right words is what I would recommend. and find someone that you can bounce your CV with and ask them for comments. Hope that helps.
Yeah, sorry, Rony. Maybe adding to that point, actually, we can just read the job description and get those keywords if it is right for you, and put that in the CV always helps. So just adding one more point, that's all.
Hope there is no.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
on.
Yes, please.
No, carry on. Sorry.
Hope there is no more questions.